minutes of the result, the show. A lot of a fully packed weekend. Here we are to bring you all the results and whatever it is that happened.
Yeah, it's true. The third of West Nile Regional League, like you said, we are at the Pandru Stadium, the on ground for Alpha Rising Stars. We covered live the game between Alpha Rising Stars and the team of Pajobi United, and equally that one wasn't the only game played in West Nile Regional League. We had so many encounters. Some games, of course, we are postponed because of the some of the pitches being overshadowed by the rain, and also international, the return of the top 5 European leagues after the international break, and also the Start Times Uganda Premier League match day 8 continued, and it actually finalized on Sunday yesterday, where of course Bull had to finalize match day 8 with a win over the team of Chitara. And also you talk about the ongoing cricket World Cup that is taking place in Namibia. Our cricket cranes, actually they are doing very well. Actually they are in pole position to make the qualification, to seal the qualification. And also the Sun under 18 returns, and our own team, that's Uganda under 18, they are not doing so well. And in the opening game, of course, they were aced by their neighbors Tanzania by a goal to nil. And a lot of things continues to happen, and others have already transpired, and we will keep you tapped with what has already happened and what continues to happen. Let's start with what happened within the region, West Nile Regional League, and we'll start with the game that was live on West Nile TV, the game between Alpha Rising Stars, where of course they had another win over Pajobi United. What was your observation in the game?
That game was a very crucial one. In the starting minutes, we saw Pajobi pressing very hard. By the way, to me, Pajobi pressed. There is Alpha Rising Stars also had in the first half. You'd literally see that they almost overshadowed. There is Alpha Rising Stars. But then somehow we saw first half ending on a 0-0 basis down there. And then when the boys returned in for action in there is a second half, we saw Pajobi pressing. By the way, I don't know if you realize that Pajobi came in. No, I mean Alpha Rising Stars now came into press. There is Pajobi in the second half, yes, where now that is where their goals came through.
Yeah, it's true. And that wasn't the only game, as I said, played in match day 4 of West Nile Regional League. We had so many games, and on Friday we had one game on the card. It was between Yumbe Heroes and Nyai. The Bostia, the Spoilers, it ended in 1-1 draw. And then on Saturday we had around 5 games played, and in Nyahama in Nyagaki Zone, of course, we are 2-1 losers into the hands of Fuluba Rainbow, and it was the first win for Fuluba. And the Pajobi, like we have just been discussing, we are a 1-0 losers to those Alpha Rising Stars. Meanwhile, the Rising Stars were thrust at home by the Black Angels. The game ended by 3-0. And the Juma Town Council, actually, we are 3-0 winners over MTC FTL of Moyo. And in another game, it was Coach Urban that, of course, had to bounce from the draw they had over the weekend. The other weekend against the team of Odamachakul, this time beating Koboko Rising Stars by 2-0. Then yesterday, we had around we are supposed to have 6 games to be played, but 2 were postponed, and Zeusendul edged in Pakwa Super Eagles by 1-0. The same score line that was represented by Nebisendul over Paida United by 1-0. Arua City, of course, had to play a 1-1 tie with the team of Pakwati Super Eagles and Pakwati Youngsters rather, and Yumbe Hospitals game with the Barakala City. BK City was postponed, and the Tips, of course, had to play a barren draw with the team of Total, and the last still Arakas game with the Odamatako equal was also postponed like the game. Yumbe Hospital, Araka also been postponed. And Susie, if we take a look at the match therefore, it's only now by the Black Angels that, of course, has kept a 100% start to the new season. 4 games played, winning all of them, and they are now having 12 points to their names, and they are sitting on top of the log in Nyagaki Zone. And Tips are now dropping points over the weekend into the hands of Tips. Of course, played a draw with the Total. Now they are having 10 points matches. They played a draw, still sharing the same number of points with the Coach Urban, but in terms of the positives of the goals, they are now ahead of that Coach Urban. 10 points, that's the Tipsa on top in Nile Zone. Meanwhile, in Nyagaki Zone, Paida Black Angels with now 12 points. And you look at the table standing, it seems Paida Black Angels, if they continue with that kind of result, they might be ending the season as champions in Nyagaki Zone.
Nyagakizon and I think these other games, regional league basically is becoming very interesting. I would say if you look at the both sides, I would say from Nyagakizon, we only have this side. I think we only have Alpha Rising Stars. And if you look at these teams on the table standings, you'd literally see that the table, to me now, is slowly by slowly taking shape. Over the weekend was match day 3. And then if you look at Nile Zone equally, they are basically also trying to take shape. So to me, I think everything is becoming interesting and becoming tense. Everyone wants to get a better position here and there, and all that. So basically, we'll be following. And if you look at Nile Zone, you literally see that most of the teams that are there are basically the Yumbe teams. That's why we're always seeing derbies here and there and all that. And then the one in Nyagakizon, we are basically seeing a lot of I would say Aluru derbies. I'm sorry, this does not sound ethical. So basically, the whole thing is becoming interesting and taking shape.
Yeah, it's true. You take a look at the table starting. We start with the Nile Zone. In the Nile Zone, we still have got some teams that are still unbeaten. 3 of them. Tipsa still unbeaten. We talk about Coach Urban still unbeaten. Odamachako equally is also unbeaten. And also in Nyagakizon, we have got the team Paida Black Angels still unbeaten. You talk about Pakwati Youngsters still unbeaten. Arua City is also in the mix unbeaten. And now, the team of Paida Black Angel has already opened 2 points gap between themselves and the team that is sitting second. And the Arua City, the last 2 games they have played, they have been picking draws. Before the recent one, actually, they entertained in Nebisendol, which ended in 1-1 tie before actually playing Pakwati Youngsters. You look at the weight of the teams. Arua City, of course, has picked draws against Nebisendol, the champions of last season. You talk about the team of Pakwati Youngsters. I think they were also the runners-up that last season, and equally they also unbeaten. The way I am seeing, by the time Arua City Football Club will be facing at least the average teams, I think it will be something easier for Arua City to collect the 3 points. And also Kuluva Rainbow this time picking the maximum number of points for the first time, but they're still in the relegation zone.
For Kuluva Rainbow, I think they have now finally realized, and that is the first point they're picking for the season, by the way. If you look at that, Kuluva, I don't know what is happening. The first season Kuluva came in, they came in too massive. I don't know if you had followed that time. They were even champions. They pushed up to the mini zones. I remember that time mini zones were played in Arua City, and the venues were just down here at General Salim Saleh grounds. There is the home ground for Leo Football Club. During that time around, but Kuluva Rainbow even went up to the champions. We saw them coming in very massively. I thought, okay, they were that time around. I rated them as one of the teams that actually has a bigger fan base compared to the rest of the teams. So basically, I know last season Kuluva came in. They had a lot of issues here and there. They had player licensing. They had issues with their coach. I remember vividly their coach was Adiga Morris, who is now the head coach of Alpha Rising Stars. But Adiga started the season last season with there is a Kuluva Rainbow. They were doing so well somehow. I remember we even brought him for one of the shows inside here, and he said the biggest problem that Kuluva Rainbow had during that time around was a club player licensing. Then I asked him how club licensing, I mean player licensing, would affect results and all that. So basically Kuluva equally didn't do so well last season, and then this season we've also seen that the season has not started on a very good notice. There is a for Kuluva Rainbow. You talked of maximum points. I think that is the first point that actually they are picking for the season. Literally, I have been following them. They are not performing very well. Even at home, they are not the Kuluva Rainbow that we used to know back then when they came into. There is a 4th division. They finished as overall champions. I remember they had finals, not overall champions. That time around, the overall champions were low. They came up to finals and then even went up to they went up to mini zonos. So this time around Kuluva, basically I think they are still not so okay. I don't know what is happening. I really don't want to say that they are not fully prepared for the league. They are prepared for the fact that someone goes in to do registration shows that they are prepared for the league. Kuluva just has a few corrections to do. It's not yet too late. By the match day 3, there are still a lot of games to come up here. If you can pick draws, if you can win some of these games, trust me, Kuluva can still leave the relegation zone. They are still not yet doing badly off. It's not yet very late for Kuluva. And then coming to there is Arua City. I think Arua City, Last season when they came, we all thought they were going to push through, by the way. They started very well. I don't know what happened. And then towards the beginning of this season as well, I think off-season, in the closure, transfer windows, the one of the team's clubs, I would say that was basically the most active in signing players here and there. That is Nyagaki zone. And then in Nine zone, we saw Total also doing a lot of preparations. But since the topic of discussion is on Arua City, I would basically say Arua City this time around has come back bigger and better. They are very rejuvenated. They're very organized, starting from management. Last season, their biggest problem was management. But they had good players, they had proven players that would actually manage the league. And by the way, they would qualify. But then the biggest problem Arua City had last season was management. I think that is where they say that fish begins to rot from the head applies. I am sorry to say that. But then I think this time around, they equally also had issues with their coach. At one time, it was Hamza, and then at another time, they brought John Ongondia, who didn't stay. So I think basically Arua City learned from all that, and this time around they have come back they look very organized, by the way. They look very organized, although they don't have a home ground. They are using Greenlight Upperbed Stadium as the home ground. They are sharing it with the Verizon Onduparaka Football Club. But they are doing very well. I must say they are still unbeaten. I thought the other day Nebi Central was coming to break the unbeaten run, which also didn't happen. So Arua City is basically doing okay.
Yeah, truly they are true. They are doing well. 2 games played back to back, all draws doesn't mean that their performances has dropped. I did mention for you that the weight of the teams they have actually played in the last 2 games. They have actually been stronger teams. Pakwati Super Eagles, not Super Eagles rather, Pakwati Young Stars and Nebi Central. We leave that one and we move systematically and we talk about what happened over the weekend in FUFA Big League. Of course, Mbale Heroes this time visited Calvary at Midgo Primary. Of course, it ended in a 1-all draw between the 2 sides. That means a win, not a win, rather the draw. Of course, Calvary picked has actually dropped them in the relegation zone with 10 points. And also, you take a look at the team of Mbale Heroes. Of course, they still have got the chance of selling it to the StarTimes Uganda Premier League. The draw they picked yesterday, of course, still keeping them at number 4 with 17 points there. Let's first take a look at how things transpired in match day 8 and match day 9 of FUFA Big League. Remember, these games all started on Wednesday, where we saw, of course, Police edging out Black Power by 3-2. Then Lugazi on Friday, we are 2-1 winners over the Caterpillars, and Calvary, like just been saying, played a 1-all draw with the team of Mbale Heroes. Kataka also the same scoreline with Karo Karunzi, and Sinda Boys, of course, did edge out Ndeze University at home by 4-3, and Boma in the last game played yesterday, we are 3-2 winners over Chetume. And of course, match day 8 and 9 will finalize today with a game between Zinza North United and the team of Chigezi Homeboys. But the biggest talking point here is all about Calvary. They started the season very well, and they had that ambition to sell it this time to the StarTimes Uganda Premier League. But statistically, in terms of percentage, 9 games played, you have only won 3, drawing 1. That means the 5, of course, have ended as defeats on their side. And the same thing also happens to the team of Onduparaka. 9 games played, 4 wins and 5 defeats. That means when we do the ratio, still matches, words can speak, but in terms of the statistics and the performances they have been put in, one may say that this is not the quality or is the performance coming from the 2 teams that really have got the zeal to make it to the StarTimes Uganda Premier League. So I don't know whether I am right or else not, because Calvary, 9 games played, 3 wins, a draw, 5 were all defeats. The same thing to Onduparaka, 9 games played, only 4 wins and 5 defeats. And both teams, they really had that zeal, that ambition to sell it to the StarTimes Uganda Premier League. Do you think they will still make it, whereas you have seen the chance already slimming?
For now, between Calvary and Onduparaka Football Club, I would say Onduparaka is doing fairer compared to Calvary, because if you look at Onduparaka, they sit at position number 8 on the table, and then Calvary sits in the red zone, position number 12 down there. There is the relegation zone with 10 points. But basically, whatever it is that is happening to Calvary, I don't know. They started also well. Onduparaka, I think, started the season with picking a defeat. They started the season away. But then if you look at Calvary, the season started, I think their first game they picked a win, and after that, I don't know what happened. They even started losing games for you're giving out your bragging rights at home and all that to the visiting team, and yet you're in front of your fans, you're playing on grounds that you are so much acquainted to. These are grounds that football is football. Yeah, we all know that anything happens even when you're home. But then at Calvary, I would literally also say, Benson, much as I agree that they're not doing so well. This position number 12, sitting in the red zone, is quite something that really we didn't expect from Calvary. Because if you look at Calvary, this is the third season that they're here. The first season they started very well. Everyone thought maybe they were going to qualify, but then no, they didn't. Okay, we all said yeah, maybe they were getting acquainted to that is the league. They were getting to understand the league. And then the second season, under coach, there was the former coach Didu Bosco, who is now the assistant coach over there. Is a NEC Football Club assisting Malangu down there. We thought Didu said one of his biggest missions was to cross over to there is a StarTimes Uganda Premier League. They started very well at some point they were even top 3. They were at position number 3 and all that, but then we also didn't see them go through. And yet, moreover, first season they played at Oduparaka, Greenlight Stadium, and then second season they moved back home. There was to Jumbe Midigo, where they were using now their real soil grounds to play football. This season again they have come back, but to me, transfer windows, they did sign a lot of proven players that can manage. There is a big league. But then, still, results are not coming. I really don't now understand whatever it is that is happening with the Calvary. But then, all in all, I will say it's not yet too late. There is a 14 Calvary. They can still improve, by the way.
True. They can still improve, but let's highlight the viewers with how the table standing is looking like. Police, of course, they are on top of the log with 22 points. Second on the log is Lugazi with 18 points. The third team on the log is actual Blacks Power with 17. Bali Heroes comes to number 4 with the same number of points, that's 17. At number 5 is Bomba with 15. At number 6 is Chetume with 14. Down in the relegation zone, Carnival now drops to the relegation zone at number 12. I did see at number 10, but at number 12 with 10 points. At number 13, it is actually the team Zinzanov United with 8 points. The second last team is Ndeze University at number 14 with 7 points, and the rock bottom team is actually the team of Young Elephant. They have 5 points to them names. And let's cross over to StarTimes Uganda Premier League, where of course we also had games in match day 8, and it concluded yesterday with so many games. Let's first take a look at how the games went. Yesterday, 2 games, only game was played between Bull and Chitara. Bull were 2-1 winners over Chitara. They were the home side. Meanwhile, on Saturday, 2 games were played where we saw Mbara City playing a barren draw with the team of Zogos, that's Sports Club Villa, and the same draw with a different scoreline was 1-1 between NEC and Wakiso Giants. Then on Friday, around 3 games were played. Busoga did beat KCA by 2-1, and the Maroons were 0-0 winners over Express, and Arue Hill this time collecting their first win of the season over UPDF. It ended by 2-0, and the match day 8 actually started on Thursday with the 2 games on the card. Gaddafi playing a 2-all tie with the team of Soltino Bright Stars, and we also saw Vipers beating the team of URA by 2-1. And so this time, after Bull yesterday beating the team of Chitara by 2-1, and it was the top of the table class. This time it has still kept them on top of the log, and the talking point here is actually widen the points gap between themselves and the team of Vipers, this time to 4. And the team of Mbara City always at Katseka, they are on playing ground. Even if you are one of the traditional giants, you always go there. The best you come up with is a draw, and we witnessed this one against the team of Zogos playing a barren draw. Before that, Vipers also visited them, and it also ended in a barren draw. But Bull this time seems to be unstoppable, now having 21 points to them names.
Bull, like you had said, is widening the gap between them and position number 2, which is being held by Vipers, 21 on 17. This is, by the way, very huge. Those are 2 games. Because 1 game, there is if Vipers wins, they collect 3 points and they come, and then they close up the gap, which will be left to 1. But then will Bull just be sitting there and watching Vipers closing up the gap? No. I think Bull is doing so well. There is under the gaffer of Abech Komeko. I think he's doing so well. He should be stepping in the footsteps of Alex Isabile, who also one time was at Bull last season, started the season with Bull, and we saw Bull doing so well. This time around, I think Abech Komeko has really been a perfect match, has been a perfect replacement for Alex Isabri. Literally, we saw Bull suffering so much by the last season. I was even surprised that the crumbling on Duparakaba, and then last season was able to beat Bull. I remember that time very vividly. But then this time around, Bull has come, I think, to stay, and they are not a joking matter. So basically, I would give thumbs up to Bull and the entire squad and the entire team. And then looking at Villa traveling to, there is a Kacheka to play Mbarara City. I had a one-on-one call. There is with the #1 goalkeeper choice over. There is Villa. He's of course a son over the soil. There is Mr. Angufindru Nauman. It was a very tough game, but before that, I literally talked to him, and they were shaky, by the way. They said picking a point at Akacheka is one tough thing, like you just said. I literally had to prove to that, connecting it to the phone call I had. But then, after the game, I equally also had a chat with him, and he told me he was actually surprised to have, one, maintained a clean sheet, and secondly, he was surprised that goal on target, or shots on target, were very few to what he had actually anticipated or what he was expecting. That game ending on a 0-0, by the way, surprised me. Literally, I had given in a win for Mbarara City, because like I know the record is like that stadium literally is like a Paruku stadium as well. You go to Kacheka, you don't survive being beaten, especially if it rains. The stadium becomes unbearable. Even looking at it, it has that awkward look and all that, as if you guys are swimming in mud, as if you're swimming in a swampy area and all that. Kacheka is one dangerous place. But I think playing with Villa, it didn't rain. We didn't see a lot of issues, apart from we had issues with rain on stadiums in Big League. So UPL literally went in smoothly. Picking a draw at Kacheka, by the way, is one huge celebration that a team can have. And basically, Villa picking in that very draw at Kacheka literally means that they played very well, and that, by the way, puts them now at position number 10, followed by Mbarara, that they shared points with at position number 11. I wouldn't really say the other team is better than the other, because they all sit somewhere. On the table.
So still narrowing it within the region of West Nile, and in connection with the Star Times Uganda Premier League, I know the biggest talking point is all about the Congolos. Arua Hill Sports Club this time collecting their first maximum number of points, beating UPDF on Friday by 2-0. Does it mean their season has started? Have they gained the momentum after the win? They
have not gained anything. That is Arua Hill. Even if they beat UPDF 2-0, that is the first win they collected. And if they are not careful, that is going to be the last win Royal will ever pick in UPL. Because one, but the Royal has a lot of issues. I was even surprised that Bull that broke the unbeaten run of, UPDF that broke the unbeaten run of Bull that sits top of the table was beaten by Arua Hill, who is equally not home. Everyone is away. Arua Hill, okay, fine. Arua Hill was home. Paridi is not home. They were home away from home. Okay. UPDF equally was not home. Okay. UPDF normally falls to West Nile teams. I remember last season when Onduparaka was still playing sometimes Uganda Premier League. UPDF equally also is the team Onduparaka picked their first win from, but the goal score was not only 2 like for Arua Hill. It was 5. And then Onduparaka also ended their season in UPL with equally traveling to there is a Bombo military barracks and also beating UPDF. So basically, I think UPDF is not also immune. Their immune resilience is not so hard to West Nile teams, and that's why basically Rahil picked that win over Bull. Over UPDF. But I wouldn't say Rahil now is good to go. No, they still have a lot of things. Rahil has a lot of challenges that they still have to work on. Player-wise, they're okay. Trust me, but financial-wise, but for a team, for a club to flourish, the finances have to be there. Tell me, Benson, if you're not paying your players, don't expect to see players for training. Don't expect to be seeing results. Even the coaches, don't expect them to be coming in to give in drills to some of these players. And basically, their management is still shaky. At one time, it was rumored that the club now was owned by two people, shareholding here on there. There is Mr. Lematia Adams, commonly known as Utelul Vegas, and then Mbabazi. And then, for me, I basically thought that the head coach was Mbabazi, who now becomes a shareholder, one of the biggest shareholders of the club, rumorly. And then somehow, that game they played with UPDF, I saw on their official page, Facebook, they were also thanking their head coach, whom they tagged as Ahmed Borini. So the whole thing is confusing, you get it?
True.
So literally, I would say Rahil still has a lot of issues, right from the top management to, I think, if they only get to correct the issues within the management, trust me, the rest will slope down smoothly to the players and they will start seeing results.
Yeah, Susie.
But it was a plus for them. I should say congratulations, Team Rahil, for picking maximum first win over the season.
Next for them will be an away trip to Soltino Bright Stars. I think picks in match day 8, of course, this time the unbeaten record of Express coming to an end. We saw the team of Ruai Hill Sports Club picking their first maximum number of points of the season. I think these are some of the shocking moments in match day 8, and also highlighting the table standing on top, like we have just been repeating, is now Ball, 21 points, followed by the team of Vipers with 17. The team that completes the top 3 is Chitara with 16. Down in the relegation zone is Wakiso Giants at number 14th with 6 points. KC at number 15th with 4 points. And the rock bottom team is, of course, Ruai Hill Sports Club with also 4 points. Susie, surprising thing is we have two teams based in Central, in Kampala, Wakiso Giants and KCA, all sleeping in the red carpet.
Wakiso Giants, I don't know what is happening, but trust me, these are teams that that always wake up. They can sleep in the relegation, by the way, for the whole season. But trust me, towards the end, if you're expecting that these are teams that will be relegated, you won't see them being relegated. One of the legendary teams, I would say, that Star Times Uganda Premier League actually has, that you wonder how they're not relegated, but these are teams that can decide to sleep in the red zone for the whole season. One of them is Wakiso Giants. Express is inclusive. I'm not saying Express is going to be, no, Express is inclusive, KCA is inclusive. Some of the teams that literally have, I think, gone to their, they are becoming landlords, I don't know, of Star Times Uganda Premier League. They have gone there to stay. You don't literally see them being eliminated easily like that. So basically, I think for now, if they're in the red zone, but could be because of 1, 2, 3 issues that actually can be corrected. And like I had started saying earlier, it's really too late for any team that actually sitting in the relegation zone to wake up, shake off whatever it is that is making them dilly-dally around and start picking up maximum points. You can correct your position, by the way, and finish even somewhere. Top 4.
Yeah, so the match day 9 fixtures already out. Of course, we need to give to the viewers how, of course, the fixtures have been drafted, and these games will actually kickstart on Thursday, the last day, 30th of this particular month, and the year still remains 2023, whereby we'll be having 2 games on the card. Sports Club Villa up against Busoga United. Ruai Hill travels away to Soltino Bright Stars, and match day 9 will return on Friday, 1st of December, with 3 games on the card. URA up against Express. Bull travels away to Wakiso Giants, and KC actually locks horns with Gaddafi. Then on Saturday, 2 games to be played. NEC travels away to Chitara. Maroons, of course, up against Mbara City. And match day 9 will be concluded on Sunday, 30th of December, and UPDF will be welcoming the team of Vipers. But just some words from you, the newly promoted sides. I am talking about the team of Chitara up against NEC FC.
Chitara on NEC, this is going to be a very big game and a very intense, by the way. If you look at NEC's performance, if you look at Chitara's performance, I think they're all doing so well. And Chitara, yeah, they are trying, by the way, newly promoted. But if you look at their performance, you literally say, you literally rate them better than some of the teams that have been in the league for ages. So basically, Chitara and NEC, this is going to be like a clash of titans. It's going to be a very tough one. I really don't want to slide into predictions. We'll do this as we look closely into both camps, yeah, to assess the player, whether they're injury list, whether the both teams will have their key players featuring in or not, and all that. But for now, all I can say is that this is going to be a very tense game. Basically, they are okay. It's a clash of newcomers, by the way. NEC has newly been promoted. There is UPL. Chitara equally has also just newly crossed over from a big league to there is UPL. So I would say it's a clash of newcomers. There is a UPL. Literally, both clubs would be wanting to prove to the other that hey, we are better than you, and the other and will be like, hey man, I think I am better than you. But all this will be literally judged after the 90 minutes of the play during that time. And like I said, I really don't want to go into in-depth analysis. We'll do this, of course, after basically assessing the squad line of both teams.
Yeah, Susie, in a different sporting activity in boxing, Arua City Boxing Club, the Boxers are currently in Kampala for National Novice Championship. Actually, the tournament started today and it's going to take place for 2 weeks. That's just an update for the fans of boxing. And also in the world of cricket, the Cricket World Cup qualifier is currently taking place in Namibia, and our cricket cranes, they are one of the teams. And of course, there are 6 nations. Uganda is one of them. Nigeria is also there. Namibia, Zimbabwe. You talk about Tanzania, and the other country is, of course, Rwanda. Uganda has performed very well, and actually then pole position to seal the qualifications for the World Cup that will be taking place next year. And today they're having a game up against Nigeria. What